Good morning, viewers. It is a brand new day, and welcome to another exciting edition of your favorite sports show, Sports Hour, being live to you from the Advent Cable Network Nigeria Television, SNTV, in the capital city of Abuja. I am Jide Olushola, and I have in the studio with me a guest, a very sport analyst who will be joining me because my co-partner, of course, is not around at the moment. So let me welcome Mr. Pablo to the show. You're welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here, Jide.
So we will be bringing to you event that's happening, and that will happen in other sports. But for now, we'll go on a short break, and when we return, we will kickstart the show. So thank you for staying tuned, and if you are just joining us, this is the Sports Hour. So we'll begin with the very first story for today, which has to do with the 2020 Olympics, where Tokyo, they've recorded the highest number of COVID-19 infections in 2 months. The news broke out that over 920 new cases have been recorded, and of course the Olympics is just few weeks from today. So Mr. Pablo, let's talk about this now. Now, there are fears by residents in Tokyo that in fact, Tokyo residents don't want these Olympics to hold because of this COVID. But the government have said they have invested so much money, and they do not want to, they've postponed it since last year till now. They will not want all their efforts to go down the drain. And they have assured all residents that yes, there will be no increase in the COVID-19 aspects, and you are quite aware that they've banned fans from coming into Tokyo. So just basically the athletes and the officials. So let's talk about this issue of COVID-19 infection that is rising. What kind of damage will this have on the players and athletes going into the Olympics?
Well, I think the world is actually changing with the surge of coronavirus. We have actually seen a lot of different cases being recorded. We have seen a lot of administrators complaining a whole lot about what happens in the terrain of sports. We have also seen economical relevances twatting and of course twisting a bit. But I think what is obtainable now in Tokyo, Japan, especially with the government, is to do with either they want to stick around the economical value, or rather the economical deficit they already have on the table, or perhaps they want to go ahead and say citizens first, because you always want to make sure you protect your citizens. Yes, and make sure that their lives are very much protected and safe. And I think that's what the citizens there are clamoring for there to be a postponement of Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Obviously,
so much money
has been put inside of it. So you cannot expect that the government will just wake up this morning, or rather, and say all of a sudden, let's call it quit on all of the investments we have. The debt. Sometimes they do accrue debt, and this could also have a way of giving out a result of what happens eventually. But I think it's not out of place to say that measures should also be put in place to make sure that if Tokyo 2020 will definitely hold, there will be a kind of management of the coronavirus surge, because right now with a high rise, and we're expecting more athletes and more you expect that what happens, the number will continue to skyrocket. But for the Japanese, it's not quite a good one for them. But if only there can be a lot of management around it, then perhaps we can just have a cool 2020.
Anyway, the government, they've assured fans and the residents that they are safe. But of course, there's this skepticism about the fact that foreigners are coming in. Thousands of foreigners are coming into the country, and there's no guarantee that they will tell them that not even one person will be free. Despite the fact that, of course, they will do all the normal checking of body temperature and all those things. But then the residents are just being scared. But then the government has come to say, don't worry, this will hold, and you are safe. For example, in Nigeria, at least the first batch of athletes, they've gone to Tokyo already. Talking about the canoeing, table tennis, and rowing. Yes, canoeing, rowing, and table tennis. They've gone to Tokyo. They're in Tokyo already. the camping before the other batch of the athletes go. So now that COVID is still a major aspect of this Olympics, in your own view, do you think they should cancel this Olympics, or it should still go on, in your own view?
Well, I think it's going to be a huge call to say cancel the Olympics, because if you look at how long it's been waited for, I mean, the patience, this is the first time we're having an Olympics that will roll for 5 years instead of 4 years, because of the effect of COVID-19. And then a lot of investment also have gone into it. A lot of athletes' participation and preparation also have gone inside of it. So if you say cancel the Olympics, I think that will not be one of the best calls to make. But perhaps if we have to regulate events, then it would be to say that maybe we could follow suit the ideology being created by the UEFA Euros, where we have cities, rather instead of one city, or instead of one country hosting the Euros, then we had a couple of cities hosting.
The spirit behind the Olympics is everybody comes together in one place. So that will be defeated.
That obviously will be defeated. But then again, if you say
just for a year,
cancelled for 1 year, that would be a whole lot if you consider 1 year has already gone down the drain. I think the management of the situation right now is what we can only try to encourage, because we cannot say cancel and then we cannot say put the citizens in a risk for their lives. But if we have a good a team of administrators who are technically sound enough, scientifically knowing how to manage the event, and having a way to harness medically all of the affairs around it, and know that the people's lives are very, very crucial, and then take that first in considerations, and then you have all of your plans being mapped out where we can still have a way of controlling the virus. I think we still will have a good Olympics, but then it's very, very important for this Olympics to play, because we just cannot wait any longer.
It's going to hold, definitely. So now let's leave Olympics and go to Euros, where England yesterday night defeated Denmark 2-1. And they'll be facing the Azuris of Italy in the finals. And this is the first time England will be getting to the Euros finals. And of course, their first major finals in the last 55 years. So let's now, against all odds, because I personally did not even think that England will go all this way to the finals. Yes, I expected that they would get probably to quarterfinals, and then probably semi-finals, and they'll be dumped out. But then they're able to shock us, some like me actually, because I see England as overrated players, based on the media hype from the English press. But then they're able to shock us, and they'll be facing Italy. So let me ask you, between Italy and England, who wins the day?
Don't you think that's quite a blunt way to seek out this kind of answers? But I think whatever happens on Sunday, whatever happens, the Euros is either going to go home to where football started in England, or rather it goes Rome to Italy, to the Azuris. But I think what is obtainable here is two teams who really have earned their name and earned a reputation over the course of the tournament. I mean, everybody gave Italy a chance coming through as well.
I gave Italy a chance because, one, in fact, I got impressed when they played against Belgium. The Belgium,
that's in the quarters.
Yes, Belgium is the top-rated team in the world at the moment. Yeah. And I was expecting that Belgium would, of course, will roll them.
Run a riot on Italy.
Yes, but then I saw an Italian side that we used to know in the past, led by a certain Roberto Mancini, who is a serial winner, and he came and he has brought his A game, and of course that winning mentality into that team, and was able to rotate all the players played. That's when I began to take notice of this particular Italian team. And then the back line, led by two Siamese twins, Siamese twins who you cannot even separate. Talking about Bonucci and Chiellini. Those guys, if you breach one, you cannot. That will show you how compact that defense is. And Jorginho ran riot in other previous games. So I see Italy, of course. England, they are playing at home. Of course, they'll be playing Wembley. That's their national stadium as well too. But then I see an Italian side
that could upset.
They're not going to upset. They're going to upset. Not could. They are going to upset. In my own personality, they're going to upset England, because now Gareth Southgate, he has done his best. He has not won any trophy as a coach. And I doubt as a player as well too. But then Mancini as a coach, he has won trophies. As a player, he has won trophies. So he knows what it is to win games when he gets to the finals. I recall I got Man City their very first trophy, EPL title, on the very last day of the season. So I see Italy winning this Euro 2020?
Well, Ajiri, I think Italy actually have done a lot for themselves. But if you look at that squad, you understand that they have compact characters all round. You want to say from the coach himself, Roberto Mancini, we know him to be a winner. He's a series winner, and obviously we don't expect that he will just bow out of the tournament at this particular stage. It's come too far to give it away. But then you also look at the goalpost. You look at the goalkeeper. Really sensational at the moment. Just 22 years, Giligi Donnarumma, who actually is clubless right now. But there's a rumor that PSG has snapped him up, but only waiting for the finals to be concluded before the announcement is being made. But I think if you go now to the defense, like where a lot of conversation has been on, I mean, you want to talk about the CIB twins of Chiellini and Leonardo Bonucci, which of course have been that force right there at the back line of Juventus, and they are now doing the same thing for Italy. And also look at the left flank. You find Emerson, you look to the right. I think what Italy is also doing, even in the midfield, you find Jorginho, you find Marco Verratti, you go up forward, you find Lorenzo Insigne, you find
Marco Verratti. That's one dark horse in that midfield. You know, you might not even see him performing.
Yes,
but he's doing his work.
He's there for the interception. He's there to make sure that he breaks play of the opponent. He's there to make sure that he gets the ball and then distributes to the likes of Jorginho, who knows how to hold sway of possession and then go forward and then dispatch the ball to the flanks.
And you have Delhi strikers, Immobile.
Yes, Ciro Immobile has been he's been doing well for himself.
And Insigne.
Lorenzo Insigne with 3 goals already in the tournament. I think Insigne also is actually living up to expectations, only at 22 as well. I think this Italian side, what they have is a blend of age and experience and usefulness, and then they're dynamic, and the way they dispatch their play is absolutely incredible. For me, I didn't really expect that they will come through to get into the finals. We're looking forward to teams like Germany, France, Portugal, Belgium, like you earlier mentioned. But Italy have gotten themselves one game against England in the finals on Sunday, and England for themselves since 1966 they haven't been into any major finals, and here they are looking to break in the genes of 55 years. This is actually a huge one for Gareth Southgate. But also you look at his assistant, who is very experienced. He's also the assistant coach for Chelsea Football Club. Talk about Steve Holland, who has actually been there making sure that all the technical impact is actually been imputed for England to be where they are right now. So I think both teams have got what it takes to go head on. But it's whatever happens, the Euros are going to go home to England, or rather it goes home to Italy.
My money is on Italy anyway. So now, still talking about football, the former Arsenal coach, talking about Arsene Wenger, he's back in. Of course, he has always been saying this, that he wants the World Cup to be held twice. No, every 2 years, not every 4 years. So now he's still on this World Cup to be held biannually, because he feels that that's when players are able to come together. You know, it will be more fun instead of waiting for 4 years to see World Cup again. You just wait 2 years. The next 2 years, you know, new champions you match every 2 years. So let me also take on Wenger's position that the World Cup should be held every 2 years instead of 4 years. Well, we're in an era of change.
Well, of course, the world is drastically changing after the surge of coronavirus, COVID-19. I think also it's not to be put out of place that you want to look back a little bit to see how the World Cup or the FIFA World Cup had actually evolved. You want to go back to when it was created in 1930 by the federation being led by Jules Rimet. Then Uruguay hosted it the first time, and also they won it in that same year, 1930. Only 13 teams also contested in that particular feat. But you want to say now we have 32 teams. Yes. I mean, a lot of changes already taking place.
From 24 to 32.
You understand, from 13, 24, then 32 right now. And then we're also looking at turning it into perhaps, say, a 48-game tournament for the teams, just like the recent FIFA president has said. But what for Arsene Wenger, the former Arsenal gaffer, has come out to say wanted the tournament to be a biannual situation. I think that can actually be looked into critically, because if you see that the excitement and entertainment and the joy in playing in the FIFA World Cup is actually for the fact that it comes for 4 years. I mean, you have to wait for a long time, but as long as 4 years
but we know
to play.
We know Wenger is an economist.
Sure.
So he's looking at the financial aspect of this World Cup being held biannually. You know, he works for FIFA.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a FIFA employee right now. So he knows that if World Cup is held every 2 years, more money will be coming to FIFA. Like you said earlier, COVID-19 is changing so many things that you have to be thinking outside the box to
sure.
raise money. That's why they brought the idea of the European Super League that was, of course, that was cancelled. That cost so much.
Uproar.
Yes, but now it was by having the World Cup be held every 2 years means that more money will be coming to the FIFA organization as a whole, and of course the different countries will also gain their own money too, and you not have to wait for a new champion every 4 years.
And then you shorten the excitement.
But then, if you shut
crave for the game,
if you shut the excitement now, of course, you just for another 2 years, fresh excitement. Just imagine, and sometimes some players would love to play for like 4 or 5 World Cups before they retire. We have some players who have played at least 3 to 5 World Cups. But just imagine that you have been able to play in about 8 World Cups before you even retire. That's a lot.
That's a plus, and then it's going to change all the records being created as well. But then if you also consider that we usually have over 200 FIFA member teams competing every 4 years, and then you also want to ask questions on how are we going to now marshal up this roundup, or rather these qualification processes where you get teams from different continents come into the fold of the FIFA World Cup, only for the last 32 that get to appear at the mundane finals. But I actually think that what is obtainable here for the quest of Arsene Wenger could be critically looked into. When I say critically, I mean you look at all of the lines that should be connected and all of the T's that should be crossed and the I's that should be dotted, and then you want to say, how are we ready? Are we ready enough to be able to put a tournament which is actually built for 4 years to be up for only 2 now? Are we ready to be able to take all the risks? Are we ready financially, economically? Are we ready with the right? Are we ready with the participation? Are we ready? There's a lot of questions also when you consider that COVID-19 is now in the mix. So if we have all of this taken care of course, for the economical value that it brings to the table, you wouldn't want to take it all of it. But if we don't have all of these cases being taken care of, then there's going to be a lot more challenges if we have it biannually. But if we can take care of all of these lines and make sure that we have all of this going forward, and then it might be something just to consider, and let's just try it out for maybe the very first time or the very first 2 times and see whatever happens. But then how about the excitement?
We are in an era of change.
Yes,
so I don't think we should just get stuck to a particular lifestyle or particular
the stereotypes.
Yes. So let's have fresh ideas. So in my view, I'm in support of Wenger having the World Cup being held biannually. It brings in more money. That's what I'm after. Okay, so let's leave football and go to basketball, where we have 8 NBA stars dominating the Tigers 50-man list for the 2020 Olympics. The Tigers they were grouped with Australia, Germany, and Italy, and the coach Brown has released a 50-man list, and out of the 50-man list, 8 of them they play in the NBA. So we have Jalil Okafor, who will be making his debut. Then we have Miami trio of Gabriel Vincent, Chikezie Opala, Precious, our own Precious Ajunwa, of course from the Miami Heat. They're also part of the list. Then Josh Okoje and Metu Chimeze are also part of the 8 NBA players who will be playing for Nigeria against Australia, Germany, Italy in the Olympics. So Mr. Pablo, now let's talk about the fact that we have 8 NBA stars in a 50-man list. No. What does that tell for the growth of basketball in Nigeria? I think looking at the home-based level, don't we have home-based players who can go and make the nation proud? I know we are going to, but let me hear your thoughts.
Well, this is really a huge one, because if you look at it, a 15-man list, and then we have 8 players playing in the NBA. That doesn't say that we don't have other players who play in Europe. But also, I would say that Nigeria basketball is actually in a dilemma at the moment. Well, that kind of dilemma, you want to say that it is an upward movement for those who play in diaspora, but then the downward trodden movement that we're experiencing here at the local scene is not quite good for domestic basketball, and that is one area which should be really looked into. I mean, we haven't had our league play for the last 2 years, and then we don't have a way of getting, or rather harnessing local content into our D Tigers team that represents us. But kudos to the D Tigers becoming the first team to qualify for the Olympics there in 2019 there in Beijing, China for the World Cup. Qualified as the first big for them, and now having 8 players in the NBA play in this particular side. I'm quite excited mostly for the duo. I mean the Arteta Tanassis, who obviously are going to be playing in the NBA playoffs finals against Phoenix Suns. They actually play for Milwaukee Bucks, and then they already have a brother Costa has already won the NBA finals. But then they are also going to be playing in the NBA finals, and also will be joining Nigeria there at the Olympics. I think I'm excited about that. But I believe that what Musa Akida is doing for Nigeria basketball at this point also should have a touch on local scene. We should be able to spread all of these good works now on domestic basketball.
Yeah, that's where the issue is right now, because we know the controversy that is surrounding the NBA, sorry, the basketball in Nigeria, the MBBF, the leadership crisis is still rocking and everything, and the fact that there have been not been much sponsors for the MBBF. Like I said earlier, for the past 2 years, going to 3 years now, there's no league, and when there's no league, of course, you cannot get players out. And I've spoken to two or three players who don't mind going to other African countries just to go and play, get the experience, and see the way they move to Europe or go to US. Because the players in Nigeria, they are not being utilized at all. They are, their talent is being drowned based on political reasons or leadership crisis that has bedeviled the federation. So if this continues, I'm not against the fact that we have international stars in. No, I'm not against that, because they are very good. For them to be playing NBA means that they are one of the best in the world.
Sure.
But now, what now happens to our own league? If we keep depending on these stars, you are not developing our own league. What now happens in future? Looking at the game we are at for the moment, but what about the future? Definitely, these NBA stars will not play in. Our own local players are not being, trained. They are not going for competitions. How will they make that grade? But every player's dream, every basketball player's dream, is to play in the NBA.
Sure. Because and also play for the national team.
And play for the national team. Play for the NBA, you have gotten to the top of your career as your club career, and play for your national team is also the top. Just like every player in Super Eagles now, every footballer wants to play for an European club. Not so because of the kind of pedestal we have put NBA as the best basketball league in the world. No doubt about that. Because when US play basketball, no country can easily defeat them, including the women league, the women version. So now my question is, if we keep depending on these NBA stars and they retire, and we are not developing our local base, what happens in future?
I think what is going on right here is just negligence. I just want to quote it that way. Negligence in the sense that we seem to leave our own by the side and then cleave onto the another's. I mean, the NBA was actually being created and obviously with a lot of hard work and a lot of good input, they were able to grow the league to where it is right now. It doesn't mean that we cannot have our own league being built or rather developed to a great standard of global recognition. But again, I was in a commentary box where I led the commentary box with the National Division 2 finals for the Southern that's Savannah Conference, where we had two teams. The FCT had Rockers. They won against Benue State on the Benue State owned team, and then at the end of the day, in the commentary box, I had the zonal rep of the MBBF board. Talk about Alhaji Abba Kaka, who represents for the northeastern region, and then he came through and said that the MBBF has actually used the last 3 years to focus on grassroots basketball. What does he mean by that? Going into the secondary schools, going into the neighborhoods and trying to fetch those grassroots players, those who haven't ever had a chance to play, those who are in their formative ages. Talk about from the ages of say 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 15, 2016, and then that they're trying to get all of these players brought into the fold of recognition where they can be given a chance to, where we saw in that tournament, the National Division 2 finals, where one player coming through from MOB Borno, talk about jersey number 12, Rhea Salis, making a national record of 42 points in one game with 8 3-pointers. I think that's huge. That's
very huge.
Very, very huge. I think that's a national record.
I'll be comparing him to Stephen Curry then.
Sure. You want to put him side to side with if you
can get that kind of points in a single game.
In a single game,
it's almost as good as Stephen Curry, who gets that same of points in a single game too.
Yes. I think what we can also look at here is that we can actually go into schools. I mean, go into primary schools, secondary schools, and then we also go into the neighborhoods where we have very remote situation. Then we can try to harness those who never ever had experience of the game before, and then they come into it, and then they have a full fresh experience of the game, and then we can also help them churn out good characters, because I think character is also a part of the game, and that's one area that the NBBF seem to have complained about local basketball. I talk about in the domestic league, but you can't take away the domestic league and expect local content to grow. I think Musa Kira needs to pay attention right now to all of these questions, because even the forthcoming elections, this is also going to be a challenge if you don't have anything to say about domestic league.
As for the forthcoming elections, that is just, in fact, I'm even scared if I want to happen during the elections and after the Olympics. But let's keep our fingers crossed and let's see how it pans out. But then the admonition is for the NBBF leadership. So content is placed on a premium position in the development of our league.
Absolutely.
We should not depend so much on foreign stars, because, like you said earlier, like the boy just talked about, is a raw talent, and I'm sure if a club in US sees that kind of person, they can get him. Just like the way that they drafted Ejike Uwaja from Nigeria. Yes. So we have a lot of talent here. And most of these NBA players, in fact, most of them, they didn't even grow in Nigeria. They didn't even grow up in Nigeria.
True.
They lived in US. They were trained in US, but because of the huge presence of so much stars in the US team, national team, that's why they were able to come and play for Nigeria. That have, of course, without the kind of stuff. Tell me which of our players can bench or can relegate Stephen Curry, can relegate, other players.
LeBron James.
LeBron James. It's going
Wade.
It's going to be extremely hard.
Absolutely.
But they are still just imagine how good our players, just our own Nigerian NBA stars, how good they are. So you can compete. So you can imagine how best I can use that word. LeBron James and COPA. So we just keep urging the NBBF Federation, leadership, to ensure that they develop the grassroots and rely less on the NBA stars. So leaving basketball, let's go to tennis, where one man called Roger Federer has failed. His ambition to win his 9th Grand Slam. Lands Hubert Ushke on Tuesday. He lost 3-6, 0-6, and 6-7 in three straight sets. That was heartbreaking for this Swedes maestro, talking about Roger Federer being knocked out from Wimbledon quarterfinals on Tuesday. How do you feel about that? He's my man. He's my man. And Djokovic, of course, he moves on to the next round.
Sure. Well, Djokovic right now seems to be the rave of the moment. Everyone is talking about how much fit is pulling up. He's finding a way to.
I was odd that
he defeated Rafael Nadal.
Yes, and Federer is out. He's my man. Federer is my favorite tennis player. I just like that guy. It's just too classic. He's just too simple, and he plays tennis with ease. He does not stress himself. That's because it's a natural ability in him. But for him to have lost to someone he was mentoring, he is a mentor to Orbital Position.
Yeah,
he's a mentor to him. This guy looks up to him as his mentor. Of course, you always expect the master, the follower to, of course, to always be better than the master.
Yeah.
So he has done that. Yeah, I'm sure the guy has watched clips of Federer, so he has seen his weak points and his strong points. And of course, Federer does not know much about it because he's still a young guy, and his age catching up on Federer.
Well, growing up for me, I always have came across this term, the young shall grow, and obviously I think for Hubert is obviously growing, and for Federer, he can also take the joy in the fact that this is my pupil. This is someone whom I have been grooming to come into the fold, and finally he seems to be taking the challenge, and he's actually living up to expectation. But that's not to say that for a certain Roger Federer, who is now 40-year-old in the next month, and he's also has won 8 titles of the Wimbledon, and he's also had 20 Grand Slam. He's earned his name for a whole lot of reasons. He's actually been in the game. He's made a mark.
His next dream of winning his night title at the Wimbledon was cut short.
Cut short. He
pinned.
He's even in doubt whether he's going to contest next season.
Next season.
That tells you that age is beginning to weigh in, and he's beginning to feel the pain in his spine and in bones.
If you look at it, he could have signed deals, you know. I think he's sponsored by Adidas, or I think Adidas or so. But you'll have signed deals with several companies, and he has to fulfill those obligations in that contract. Maybe that's the reason why he's still playing tennis.
But if he has to play next season, I would look forward to seeing a rejuvenated Federer in a very different style, because what we have seen now, especially with the French Open being concluded, we saw how he fitted, and now we have seen him being booted out of the Wimbledon. It tells you that
I don't know that was booted out.
but he's been booted out, and I am a family, for instance, and I wasn't excited when Djokovic did a straight against Rafael Nadal in the finals.
Nadal finds it difficult to defeat Djokovic these days.
Age is coming through, and the experience and the pace. The pace of Djokovic is absolutely unbelievable.
Nadal and Djokovic, the age gap is not so much.
It's not much, but when you want to talk about age, 1 year can actually make a lot of difference. 2 is what we are contending with here. 36, 38. Now, Djokovic is 36, and he knows that he has been away from the game, having been sacked from the US Open last season, and then he knows that he has to be able to go underground and do a lot of hard work, help his physique and rest, and all of this counts for him. You can't take that away. That physique is always a part of the science of the sport.
It's injury prone, and he gets angry easily. Once he loses a point or a set, you will see that anger in him. He might begin to, from there, he begin to lose his
cool.
Yes, and begin to play rubbish. So I'm not surprised that Djokovic is having an upper hand over Nadal. But Federer is out, so we hope to see. Probably he will play again in the next season of this competition. So let's leave in tennis. Let's go to South America, where one interesting clash, very interesting clash, you know, they are perennial rivals. You know, it's very difficult to say one team will beat the other team because of the array of stars and talent in both teams. Argentina will be playing against Brazil in the Copa America finals. Messi will now have another opportunity to win his first international trophy, apart from Olympics that he won in 2005 with you know, against Nigeria. He's yet to win an international trophy. Can Messi win this time around against Brazil?
Well, this is quite unique of Copa America this season. I mean, there is no CONCACAF a team in it. It's just the Southern American teams that I need, and only 10 teams contesting, with only 2 in the finals. Now we're having the biggest, you want to say the biggest teams, Brazil and Argentina. And Argentina, for one, are quite excited because of the exit of Chile, who seem to have denied them twice to that podium. Yes, and now they have a challenge, but it is not one that they want to really say they want to set aside and say they're already done and dusted. Brazil is
tough.
They are the only team, as well as Argentina, that have 100% record in the tournament. Argentina didn't even make it 100. They had a draw in the group stages. But for Brazil, it has been win all the way. And this is the most important win for them. And they will be going all out for it, not considering whoever they will be playing. So, but for a certain Lionel Messi in this squad, he has been able to make 4 goals in the tournament. He's a top scorer, 5 assists. He is a top assist player. And he's also been able to have 4 Man of the Match award in a tournament that he's only played 6 times in. I think the statistics for Lionel Messi here continue to go up and up. If you see that he has gotten 26 Man of the Match award for 36 games that he has played the whole of 2021. Messi has a great record right now, but the Brazilian side that seem to be on fire can actually be a stumbling block for any team, even Argentina.
In the last game, all the yellow cards that the opponent received.
Was it because of Lionel Messi? 5 of them.
Yeah, 5 of them. Then I saw a picture of his bloodied foot. You know, the players they've axed into his feet, but he still continued. He still continued. You know, he is so desirous to win this Copa America that he has lost twice, finals twice. Sure. And one of the finals he played penalty and he lost his penalty. And he got to the World Cup finals. He also lost. So I'm sure he'll be so desirous to win his first. So maybe we'll see a very, very angry Messi. But then my concern is that Messi is just one man.
Yes, Messi, yeah.
What about the other players? Compared to Brazil, where all of them, I mean, all of them are stars. Can Messi actually able to inspire his average? Because other players are average in Argentina. Can to me, yes.
Like the defense line?
Yes. Can they be able to inspire an average players, his teammates, against an extremely talented Brazilian side?
Well,
one man cannot do it.
One man cannot make a forest,
but he can try his best.
Yeah, of course, definitely he can. And I think it's not out of place to say that the hard work being put in by Messi, Lionel Messi, it's just one to be lauded. I mean, also to be taken to high reputation for the fact that he has been craving to be where he is today with his side, irrespective of the fact that they have some average players in the team. But you also want to look into some of the players and say that they also are quality and they can also pull some stunts when they face Brazil in the finals of the Copa America. But for Brazil, what has been putting them forward so far has been the hunger from every of the players. They have this natural hunger to fight. They definitely want to make sure that they get themselves something to celebrate, and they've always make sure that the input, the hard work is being brought in by every of the first 11 on the pitch of play, and that is what you want to say.
They're all talented.
Yes, that's what you want to.
Extremely talented.
Extremely, and you want to say that can actually count against Argentina. But we have seen what the Dane, talk about Denmark, has done in their season of the Euros.
I think
with Christian Eriksen.
On their luck.
Yes, with Christian Eriksen.
What if
inspiring that team?
If Eriksen was not injured, was fit, could Denmark gone this far?
It would have been hard. It would have been very hard.
So they rode on their luck, and from it seemed that people were pitying because of Eriksen, and they're able to garner so much emotions, and they got to where they are.
But you will not take away the fact that they also made a few records for themselves, becoming the only team since the inception of the tournament to qualify after losing their first 2 games. I mean, it's very hard to explain that.
One of the third best placed team after the group stage. Yes,
of course.
They made the record.
Sure. They also worked so hard and earned their place in the semis.
I never thought they were going to get out of that group stage.
No one actually expected that they would.
But they did. So on Sunday we are going to see a new champion in Copa America as well as in Euros as well too. So this weekend is full of interesting finals. So you will see how that pans out this weekend. And let's come back home. Our train come back to Nigeria, whereby the Nigerian Handball Federation is about to, by tomorrow, the National Division Handball League will commence in Benin City. That's from July 9th to July 13th. Yeah, July 13th. And this league is a qualifying series for the Premier League, talking about the Prudent Energy Handball League. Benin City is hosting the Division League, more or less like a qualifying series. And handball is one of those federations that has been up and doing, led by Samuel Ocho. I love that guy. Him and Mr. Nimro should be the sports administrators of the year, because those guys have been working their socks out. Let's take out football. So let's talk about handball, Samuel Cho.
Well, giving kudos to Samuel Cho, not only for Samuel Cho, you also mentioned Musa Nimrod of the Volleyball Federation, and as well, I'd like to also point out Daniel Igali of the Wrestling Federation. I can recall that the three of them were actually the last three for the Administrators Award at the Nigeria Sports Award 2019, where Sam Ocho, I call him Digital Sam Ocho, finally took the gong for the day. But I think what Handball Federation of Nigeria is doing at this point is trying to revitalize this game and trying to bring back memories of the older era when Nigeria used to be wellly placed when it comes to handball in the European turf. I also would like to recall that handball is only the first sport to take Nigeria to Olympics in 1992. I say Barcelona, Spain, where Nigeria played out there in the quarterfinal stages. But right now we are coming back to where we're supposed to be, having been in the dark ages.
But so long.
But very so long. I mean, far too long. And then now we are seeing a revamped handball come to the fold. We continually have the Premier League play, and now we are seeing the Division 1 also. This is the second time it is playing after it was away for 16 years. It only played back in 2019 after it couldn't play in 2014 or 2004. And so I think what we are seeing here is to see teams come through from the ranks of the national division and head into the Premiership. But for last season, we saw a correctional boys side that relegated, and they will be fighting to make sure that they get the FCT back with 3 teams competing in the Premiership. And we're also seeing teams come through from Kwara. We're seeing teams come through like the Police Machine will be playing. We'll be seeing we'll be seeing the Winner Kings. They'll be playing for Queens. And their Queens as well. We'll also be seeing the likes of Bielsa and
of Abia.
Of course. I think, yes, Abia Valen too, who actually relegated last season. I think what is going on here is to say that the development of the game is actually in the right trajectory. I mean, we are following suit that process where we get to continue to make sure that the Premiership is very, very secured and safe. And then we have the National Division 1 who also makes sure that statement. And then if we can go into the grassroots, like I clearly mentioned about the basketball, if you can go into the grassroots, harnessing from the schools and from the local neighborhoods, I think that will actually make a roundup for the hard work being put in by Digital Sam Ocho. But for now, for the National Division 1, built for 9th to 13th of this month, I think it's really good to see that the Royal City, Benin City, is hosting again to consolidate their effort on the National Sports Festival. So it's good to see what handball is doing. But I'm also looking forward to seeing the team that wins it. Haven't seen the adorable Angels of Kwara winning against all haven't won last season at the National Division 1, coming to the Premiership and became champions for the first time.
For the first time, an amateur club.
I'm telling you,
coming, and defeating established clubs. That's interesting, but because we are running out of time, so let's now go in athletics. There's always something that happens at athletics whereby records must always be broken, no matter what. No record stands for life, and our own FASUBA, his record that is set in 2006 Doha has been broken by an African 100 meters sprinter, talking about AKANI, SIMBINE, a South African. That was on Tuesday. Olusoji FASUBA held this record for 15 good years as Africa's fastest man, with a 9.85 seconds. But on Tuesday, AKANI broke that by just 1 second.
9.84.
Just 1 second, he broke that record to become. He now owes that title as Africa's fastest man. How do you feel that a South African has taken our record that we've held for 15 good years?
Well, on a personal note, I think I'll have to protect it and say that
record was broken.
Of course, they're meant to be broken, but of course, being a Nigerian, I like to say that not too a good one, but Olusoji FASUBA can actually come back, realizing that it's not so much that has been taken off his record. So he knows that he has just one centisecond even. So he knows that he can actually come back to it and still take that lead, becoming the fastest African man to leave on athletics. But still, I think it's not to be taken off cards to say that Nigeria's the women team are quite doing very well for themselves right now, qualifying for the Olympics. I say that they were playing in the women's 4x100 and then women's 4x400. 400 as well as the mixed relay.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's quite cool to see them do that.
And Bless Okagbare is the second fastest woman in the world now.
Yes, and I'm quite expecting a whole lot from her from the Olympics, right? So I think right now for Nigeria athletics is going up, but for the men counterpart, a little bit of some concern should be placed and focused, because they seem to have downtrodden when it comes to representing Nigeria. They couldn't qualify for the Olympics this season, and also we have seen the FASUBA'S record being broken.
4x1 relative, we are not qualified for it.
Yes, that's 4x100, but they still made it for 4x400.
Yes.
So it's not bad, but some concerns should be placed, especially if you consider again that this record being broken by AKANI SIMBINE of South Africa, that of Olusoji FASUBA. I think Olusoji FASUBA still has a lot more work to do, but it's not out of place to say that he can come back and still become Africa's fastest.
Do you think he can come back?
Possibilities are still in the air.
No, he can't. He has left the stage. He has left the stage. So let's talk about our own darling Pape has been urged by Anelka to dump PSG. Anelka is urging Pape that if you want to become one of the world's best players and win the Ballon d'Or, you have to leave PSG.
I think what Nicolas Anelka is trying to tell Kylian Mbappe right now is that if you want to become the world best, be like me. I mean, Nicolas Anelka was one of the most traveled players in the whole world during his time. I mean, he played for big teams. You want to mention Real Madrid, you want to mention Arsenal, Chelsea.
If you have to put Anelka's transfer fee together, he's the most expensive player.
Sure, because he was able to get himself into places where you wouldn't see players transfer easily to, and then he made sure that he got not only to get there, he also got a part of the status, being in the starting 11. For Nicolas Anelka, he knows that right now the prime of Kylian Mbappe, he's 22 years old, and he's at the point whereby he can decide to raise his game or rather just stick where he is.
As you can see on your screen, the quote there says, Anelka's quote there, you can't say he competes with the best all the time when you're at PSG. That's a slap on PSG.
Well, because of the league where he plays, the Farmers League. But I think what PSG might be doing this season could actually surprise the whole world. I mean, haven't signed the likes of
Sergio Ramos.
Yes, they've signed Sergio Ramos.
We'll talk about Ramos. We'll talk about it in our transfer gist. So, since talking about European football, Napoli coach talking about Laroso, he said he's going to build a squad around Victor Osimhen. That is, Osimhen is going to be his point man, and they're going to play around him to ensure that Napoli becomes one of the best, gone for the title in the Serie A title. What do you think about this now?
It's just brilliant for Luciano Spalletti to make such statement. I think it's brilliant. Just not brilliant for the fact that Victor Osimhen, despite all of the COVID-19 challenges he had last season, he still was able to make 10 goals out of 24 appearances for Napoli. And being for a first-timer in that squad, I think he's actually built up some kind of confidence for himself. And living up to that expectation will be for him to now carry the whole team on his shoulder, and he can do that because we've seen the likes of even Nicolas Anelka at some point used to be the frontliner for Arsenal Football Club. We also saw a certain Filippo Inzaghi for AC Milan. There was Van Nistelrooy,
the man that was born in offside position.
Yeah,
according to Ferguson, the man that was born in offside position.
But then he also knows how to keep that position and then finish off with a goal.
Yes.
And so also we have seen a lot of teams build their squad around their striker, and if for Luciano Spalletti he wants to actually orchestrate that in the next season, I think that's quite laudable, and that can actually pay them a good dividends and in the playing of pitch in the football playing pitch. For Victor Osimhen, that will also mean that he will have to up his game because
he has no choice.
He has no choice to do that.
He's going to be the center point,
of course,
of the team,
the focal attention by all defenders in not just the Italian Serie A, also in European football. He knows that now everyone coming to the game will come to say we make sure that we stop Victor Osimhen from scoring. So that would be a lot more task to say that he had to double his effort, do much more to make sure that he go past every defender, no matter the quality you bring to the table. He does better to make sure he finds his net. That is going to be a lot of task to see how we orchestrate that. But for Luciano Spalletti, great call. Okay,
now let's not talk about the transfer gist we have. Sergio Ramos, very painful for me as a person that he is going to PSG. He has signed a 2-year contract with PSG, and of course Akraf, one of the brightest African players we have. is also going to PSG. What is the lure about PSG?
You also didn't mention Jorginho Wijnaldum, who also have moved to PSG.
Yes. What's the lure? What's in PSG that this place are going there to? Is it the money? Look, I can see excuse Ramos. Of course, it's getting old, so he might not need the money per se. He might not need the club
because he's won everything at Real Madrid.
Yes, but just be there for the money right now.
Well, it might not just be for the money. I mean, for you to be able to be in top shape, to be able to be in contention for international responsibility, you have to be able to be at a club where it's been competed hugely. I mean, PSG is one team that is trying to compete in the UEFA Champions League for so many years now. They have failed in their previous encounters. In fact, they've changed managers. The most painful one is switching Thomas Tuchel for a certain Mauricio Pochettino, only to see Thomas Tuchel win the Champions League the same season. But for PSG, what the chairman is trying to do here, Khalifa, is trying to tell Kylian Mbappe, you want to go elsewhere to win the Champions League. I'm trying to bring the players right here to help us win the Champions League, and that is one of the tactics to see how you can lure Kylian Mbappe to stay put at PSG. But
and we know Ramos is a fantastic leader.
Obviously,
and there's
still a Marquinhos in that defense line. You have Hakim Akraf joining as well. That's going to be a riot for any attacking lineup to actually face.
There's still Kevin Navas at the
Marco Verratti is still there. You want to mention Mario Icardi. There's a lot of players. Angel Di Maria. PSG might actually be off for something spectacular next season.
Okay, my directors are already telling me that our time is almost up. So let's just have a rundown of the fixtures for the Nigerian Football League this season and this Sunday. So on Sunday, Abia Warriors will take on Aqua United. Dakada FC will play against Atlant FC. Aqua United, you know, they are the table toppers right now. They're going to play against anybody. That's going to be the biggest match of the weekend. You can see that on your screen. Rivers United, of course, we have all been devoured by the Warrior Wolves. Enugu Rangers, you know, they play at their home, the cathedral, their fortress. I don't see how Wiki Tourists, we get a win or a draw in Enugu Rangers. Ifeanyi, they might be the spoilers, as Nasarawa United are also chasing their first EPL, their first title at their second place. And Jigawa Golden Stars will take on Plateau United. Lobby Stars will welcome Adama United. MFM will also welcome Katsina United. While Sunshine Stars might want to, you know, Kano Plus might want to deem the Stars of Sunshine Stars when they meet on Sunday. These games are by 4 p.m. on the Nigerian. And of course, I don't know whether it will be shown on TV. But you know, our league is not being shown on TV, and that is sad. But then the Nigerian Football League is very, very interesting right now. Aqua United will be second before, but then this is the first time they are going to top the league, and they are really, really looking very forward, you know, to win their very first title. And of course, being chased closely behind them is Nasarawa United. This Nasarawa United is a club that was facing relegation last season, but because of the fact that the season not end, they escaped relegation. But now one club is almost due for relegation. Talking about Adama United, very painful, but they are due for relegation. So this is just basically the games. Let me ask you, why can't our games be shown on TV in just one sentence? Okay.
It's so sad, really. It's just sad. I can't even put it in one sentence, right? It's as sad as that. But it's the only way we can grow the game. It's just the way to go. TV rights is what is keeping the EPL today. And only if we can get our game, our football locally to get to that standard, then TV rights is actually the way forward. I recall last week or so, the club owners, you know, they had a meeting with the LMC and they told them, while preparing for the Eto Cup, that they need the league must be sponsored. If we have TV rights, if we have games on TV, these cases of violence all around, up and down, will be taken care of. And that's one of the challenges that it comes away, because you know that your fans will be in the right accordance. There's going to be tighter security for the TV rights. And if we have that, it means more sponsors will come through. It means endorsements also rolling. It means we're going to be having a lot of economical value put into the league. And that is the only thing that the LMC has failed to win for the league. And that point of the game must be taken to keen concentration right now.
So bad, so sad, so bad, so sad. But then let's just keep our fingers crossed that they will do the needful. They know what to be done, but then I think the political will to do that is not just there, but they know what to be done, and they know what has to be done. So thank you so much, Sean Pablo, for gracing our invite despite your very tight schedule. I appreciate you for coming, and I'm sure that when we call upon you again, you will surely come up.
Let's do it again today.
Definitely. So viewers, this is where we draw the curtains for today's program. We hope you enjoyed every bit of the show. So till we come again same time, stay station next week. We say enjoy the rest of the day and have a splendid weekend. I remain Jide Olushola. Bye.
Flood is a human-induced disaster that has affected thousands of people in Nigeria over years, with many lives lost and properties destroyed. Seasonal forecast has revealed that the possibility of flooding in some states are as a result of torrential rainfall.